When the Nazis tried to kill Nikki, she hid in a pool of paint. When you try to murder a muralist that talks to God through her fingertips, the oil surrounds you like an artistic army. It dares you to test her survival. Her art was born to live.
When Hitler came into Vienna and annexed the city, the family had to disperse. And so as a result of that, my mother and my father went to France, thinking that they would be safe. And unfortunately, if you have followed history, you know very well that that was not the case. And my father was arrested and ultimately sent to his death in Poland, one of the 6 millions that ultimately were killed. At that point, a gypsy, from what I hear, told my mom that she would have a child. My mom was 43, and here I am. Now, there's something mysterious about that, and I've always wondered about that, and what was my reason to be born. And as I get older and older, I'm beginning to see why that really was the fact. And so we were not able to come to America because America had quotas for Jews, and we're not allowed into this country. I don't know how many of you know about that. But it took a long time, and not only did you have to file for a number, but you had to have a sponsor, and you had to have visas. And so we did not get here until 1947, which was after the war. And when I got to America, I lived with my aunt and my grandmother and my cousin, all women. None of the men had survived. So I was encouraged as a child to become a teacher. I didn't really think about that because I was always making art, and it was just who I am and what I do and what I love. And fortunately, my mother was right. I went into the field, and I wanted desperately to be an American and get as far away from the old country and their old ways. And I pursued a career in New York, and I went through school. And when I finally got my degree, guess what? There were no art jobs. So I ended up marrying someone and moving to Baltimore, who was from Baltimore. And ironically enough, I started doing teaching on my own, private teaching, whatever, working through community colleges. So I made my way in the art field in spite of everything else. And then all of a sudden a mural job came up, and I had never done a mural in my life, and I applied, and I got the job. And subsequently I spent the next 20 years doing murals for Baltimore City, and then eventually ended up teaching mural painting, because that's what I was, a teacher. So in the interim I had 2 children, and raised my children. And as I got older and older, I started thinking more about my past. Instead of pushing it away, I started thinking more and more about it. And so I thought, well, what was that really all about? And I must say, as I was doing murals, I was also running a little antique business on the side. I had to survive. And as I get older and older, I begin to realize the meaning of my past and my history, and how important your history really is, and where you came from, and who you are, and what you're a part of. And so I started delving more and more into that. And so what gives my life meaning? Well, I wrote 3 things specifically. And one was to validate my ancestors and the fact that they were killed. And the other was that I love to learn and I love to share learning. And the third is, of course, the future. And the future are my children and my grandchildren. And that there is a positive future, so that the past connects with the present. And as far as my own death is concerned, my death is simply, I thought about Ecclesiastics, and for everything there is a time, and for everything there is a purpose. And I am a vessel for that. So hopefully I have sown seeds that are positive, and the future will be seen in my children, my grandchildren, and the kids that I have taught. And I believe strongly in the future, and I believe in positive thinking, and I believe in creativity. And I only have 1 minute, so the hardest part of all of this is thinking about what I would have told myself at 21. And that was the toughest one, because I don't really think I would have done anything differently, except to say, appreciate your youth, which is trite, but it's true. And appreciate your health, and appreciate your energy, and enjoy the world. Thank you.
Everybody wants to be in their body. Child, God ain't no stranger. My music is classical, rhythm and blues, rock and roll. It's a mixture, like a bowl of gumbo. But some nights it tastes like Katrina. The storm washed away my recordings, but not my soul. See, I'd break gravity before I let that go.
Thank you. First of all, I'd like to thank Steve Brown and his wife, staff, everybody for the privilege of being here. And all y'all, thank you very much. My name is Noel Russell. I'm from New Orleans. I've been a musician since 9 years old. So, that. I wrote down a lot of stuff that I have here. I've been in the art world for, like I said, a long time. I've seen a lot of things. You know, it doesn't seem like a long time. But I've had a lot of time to reflect on people. I remember when I was real young, couldn't even walk. And my world was people's legs. Okay, that's what you are. And you had this top that you would spin and it would make this sound. Big old, that was my world. I remember that. From that age up until now, I was cognizant of everything. And I studied people and always wanted to know why they did what they did to each other, you know. And I never got really a true answer for it, whatever. Money and stuff like that, fame for it, different things. But I wrote down things of what gives my life meaning.
For the community.
Family, true friendships, helping your children along their life.
Okay.
Knowing your help others through rough times. This is very important. Every one of us here on the face of this earth is not here for ourselves. We're here for each other. Okay, this is a school. You're living in a body, which is your house. It's like you go to the moon in space. You know, you get out of the space and you die. When it's time for you to turn this in, you're gone. We're spirits, you know, and we're just renting everything. You know, we may think we own this house. We may think, well, this is my car. It's paid for. This house is paid for. Well, first of all, you got to keep paying taxes on it. Thank you. Yeah, shoes that you got on. I've seen people with shoes for goodwill. Then you find out that the shoes belonged to a boy who was in an auto accident. He died. You couldn't take the shoes with him. You know, never see no grave truck going to the graveyard. You know, all your money will be right here. You don't even take, you take nothing with you. You come here naked, you leave here naked. Okay? You can't even take your body, it turns to dust. It's fertilizer. Okay? I mean, you don't bury people in what you got. I guess they're trying to keep them thinking that they're mortal. So they put them in tombs now. You still turn to dust when you go back. Okay. So, family, knowing that you've helped others through, it's very rewarding. Every time you do something with somebody on the street, don't you feel good? When you help this person, I mean, you really help them, you know, they fell out, scraped their knee, you help them get up, you help them break the helmet, and when it's finally over, you walk, you feel really good. That's what life's about, feeling good about helping each other, you know, period. That's why we're here, and God watching us too, okay? Knowing you've lived with honor and integrity, you know, being true to yourself, not what Jim say, John say, who's, whatever, you know, they can't even live their own life. They're going to tell you how to live your life. You know, it's like a bank robber. He's been in penitentiary 15, 20 times. They're going to tell you how to rob a bank. Man, please. Staying the course. Staying the course with your beliefs, what you really believe in, knowing that you stay faithful to yourself. Okay, that your faith to our own self be true. Knowing that my living has not been in vain, hearing from friends from years past that says how much they appreciated having me in their lives. That's a very nice thing. For 20, 30 years, you meet somebody and say, man, you know, you really helped me out 30 years ago, you really, you know, et cetera, et cetera. If my life would end today, I cannot ask for a better life. That's true. I have a wonderful wife. I think she's one of the most loving people that I've ever known. She's the friendliest. She'll help you out with anything. A wonderful mother, wonderful father, wonderful children. You know, I couldn't ask for anything more. Okay. How do you think about your own dying? Death is an experience by the living that is the sadness of it. Loved ones grieve for the departed, but all is not as it may seem. Change is inevitable. The caterpillar becomes a butterfly, an acorn, a yolk, the ugly duck, and a beautiful swan. Life is eternal. What is called death, in reality, is transition. I have no fear of death. It will come when it will come. Life is too short to constantly worry about the end of your time on earth. I live every day as though it may be the last, as it may be. We are only passing through. At any time, your time may be up. So I make the most of each day as it could be my last. And if it is, I can rest assured I've done my best. The time given to me, death has its time limit also. Revelations, King James, 2014. In death and hell are cast into the lake of fire. So I go forward in life giving what help I can to the world I've been placed in. With these things in mind, I wish you love, peace, and happiness. What would you say to my 20-year-old self? You have traveled far and long. You did what you could to uplift your fellow man. The road to home is long in suffering, short in time. You have always given your best, and that's all anyone can do. Your questions have always been, what do you need? How can I help you? I speak to you from the future. Persevere, be strong, trust in the Lord, keep the faith. Do all you can do to help those who cannot help themselves. Strive to keep your integrity, though it may seem hopeless, it is not.